How do you explain police stations are manned by police officers who are armed? They are attacked by people who are unarmed. They overpower them, take over a police station and touch it. It's a movie. No shooting, nothing. No resistance. Some people just walk into a police station, take it over and touch it. That is, and you are not even told the inmates who are in the cells, were they released or not? There is nothing. It was stage managed.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Rigathi Gachagua, the former deputy president, the current leader of the DCP party, speaking from his home during his interview with the NTV. Rigathi Gachagua is making his reaction as far as demonstrations are concerned and the sentiments from the government as far as the demonstrations are concerned. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the demonstrations, there are so many things that occurred, so many lessons to be learned, to be noted there. But the fact is that there are facts about the demonstrations that we all could see by our naked eyes. So that is going to form the basis of this analysis here, where I'm going to take you through on some of the things that happened and the facts about the demonstrations. But before I do so, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukwa Times, take a second or two to subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me dive into the topic today. Number one lesson we can get from the demonstrations that occurred, from the youth perspective, the demonstrations were very successful. And the success is on two bases. First, the consistency. The consistency in the manner that what happened 25th June 2024 has again happened this year on 25th June 2025. That is immense. What do I mean by that? The spirit for calling the government to do well, it is still there within the youths, despite a year period that has passed. That is a huge success for the youth of this country. People might take it from the aspect of numbers. If it is the numbers, still those counties in which demonstrations were held, people turned up in large numbers. Let me tell you one simple thing. If you consider last year, the government noted that they made a mistake somewhere. To an extent that government buildings like now, let's talk of parliament, it was breached. So as you speak today, we know very well that the government did so many things to ensure that they prevent the demonstrations. But as you witnessed, the demonstrations were successful because if it is the CBD of Nairobi, it was accessed. If it is large numbers, it came in the streets. If it is Eldoret, where William Ruto comes from, demonstrations were there. Despite that, this time around, the goons came early enough to the streets. Before, goons delayed a bit. This time around, they were brought early enough to the streets. Some of them armed with some weapons to beat the demonstrators. So that is what happened. So basically, the demonstrations were successful. I hear that people were almost status. They actually were around status girls. That's a clear indication they're just a few meters away. So ladies and gentlemen, the clear indication is that the youths of this country are consistent in calling the government to do well. Consistent to ask for justice. Consistent to end extrajudicial killings. Consistent to end corruption in this country. Those are big achievements that were made by the youths in these current demonstrations. Number two, the other fact is that there were goons in the streets that were brought by people allegedly to be from government. It can be proven from all clips that where goons were operating, either demolishing a property, either breaking into some businesses, either going into supermarkets to steal from there, either burning the government offices like law courts and the police stations, the police officers were missing in action. Mysteriously. Places manned by police officers, mysteriously the police officers were missing. As you can hear from Rigathi Gachagua, it's a coincidence that the whole police station was burnt down, but wafungwa hawakuwa ndani. The inmates were not there. Ooh, does it mean that they didn't arrest? They did not have any person who was arrested even for drinking alcohol that was just kept there? A very mysterious thing. And that takes me to a point that sometimes Murkomen and his team, they feel like Kenyans are not able to see what's happening. They can just be fooled. In Nairobi, you could find people who are peacefully demonstrating, tear gas thrown to them, even in Kisii here. But those who are looting, mysteriously the police are not there. In some occasions, the police could walk away from goons beating a civilian, literal drive off. A clear indication that this was a joint operation. Another lesson, or maybe another fact about the demonstrations, it is that the police were partisan. A scenario where you're walking and you leave goons beating a common mwananchi, a demonstrator, where things are being stolen and the police just watching, that is not service to the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the other fact that we have to state it here, and we are very sorry about this, is that police officers were also injured. Police officers were injured, and some of them badly injured. But these ones, I want to take it direct to the police officers and the people in power. When the police officers do something wrong to Kenyans, we don't see any effort to ensure at least this is corrected, so that they can create a good relationship between the public and the police. But now, a cabinet secretary in charge of interior comes out to tell the police that shoot to kill if you see someone near the police station. Until the people around there had to shout at him for him to feel like, okay, I've made a mistake here. That is what we're talking about here. Creating animosity between the government, the police officers, and the common mwananchi. Very wrong. That is a fact that police officers were injured. In some occasions, I want to state it here that even the police office operations within the CBD, they literally find people are harmless, having a phone, flag, water, just lifting their hands up. They go ahead to beat them. They beat them seriously. Some of them get injured. The shooting of a young man who was selling masks in the streets of Nairobi, that was inhuman. A man who is selling masks has not retaliated, is moving away from you guys, then you decide to shoot his head, directly to his head. Right now he's fighting for his life at Kenyatta National Hospital, and they are saying that his brains were badly damaged, in that after that this gentleman might not get back to normal again. We hope the gods that we do, the God we do worship in heaven, will do something to this gentleman, and a miracle will happen that will get back to his normal life. Another big lesson that we are able to learn from there, it's that properties were destroyed, businesses were broken into by goons, and the fact that millions of money were lost, or even billions. Last but not least, the demonstrations across the country majorly involved the youths. Youths came out in large numbers in various parts of the country. The youths brought Nairobi to a standstill, hence the country was at a standstill waiting to see what will happen next. That was what exactly happened in the demonstrations that occurred. My name is Abel Mukua. See you in the comment sections. Share with me what you think. Thank you so much for watching.